Greetings, heroes and Force users. Welcome back to Inside the Tauntaun, a podcast in the multiverse of fandom. I'm Alyssa Simmons, and I'm joined by my two pals, Dino Nicandros.
Hello.
And Daniel Dawson.
Hello there.
And today we are talking episodes 5 and 6 of the Marvel Disney Plus series Agatha All Along. This is episode 5, Darkest Hour, Wake Thy Power, and episode 6, Familiar by Thy Side. And by God, we're Marvel fans.
I don't know who you are or where you came from.
I am Art.
I thought they smelled bad. On the outside.
Smells like a new car in here.
Inside the Tauntaun, this is our opening song. Alyssa, Daniel, Dino, talking nerd stuff, come along. Inside the Tauntaun podcast, please like and subscribe.
Third time's a charm.
Third time. Yeah, I was having some troubles in the
Strokes.
intro, everybody.
Lots of
But-
strokes.
The one you heard sounded fine.
It was witchcraft. You'll be. Oh, that's what it is. It was a sigil.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
God.
What's the
Wait,
That's what
what's
I'm
your
gonna
name?
do Anytime buddy asks
Shoot,
me
that's
to
how we should have
introduce
done our
myself,
intros.
I'll go,
Yeah, we should have edited a sigil over our mouths when we said our names.
That would be cool.
So cool.
Spared some expense.
Yeah,
Like,
if anybody knows how to do that and wants to do it to us,
Yeah.
do it.
Thanks.
maybe for like $5.
I don't know. We could check on that. What's that one
Fiverr?
app called?
Fiverr. Yeah,
Fiverr,
right.
yeah.
This is not an advertisement for Fiverr, but they
It
got
isn't,
some
but-
cheap. They got
No,
some
they-
cheap ass
they
ways
didn't
They
for
pay
their
to go on
guys.
this show.
really do. Those people are just wanting to make a few bucks.
Quite literally
Quite
a few
literally.
bucks. Yes.
Well, how are you two doing?
Great. I'm really good.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did my civic duty. I voted.
Me too.
Yeah.
We vote
Um,
Ted.
Yeah, voted ahead of time because on the day of the election,
Yes.
election day,
Yes.
is what I was trying to say, is I'm going to be in rehearsal, so I can't do it that day.
Oh,
I know that
yeah.
there's, at least in California, we have numerous days that you can go in and
Mhm.
do it, but I like to do it like at home at the comfort
When
of your own
I'm-
home.
When I am president,
Yeah.
Election Day will be a national holiday.
For goodness sakes.
I think
And I
that's a
will-
great idea,
I will
President
end voting
Nicandros.
a month early.
I will end
It is-
voting,
It is
period.
ridiculous.
This is how bad edits happen.
I will end voting.
Oh my god! This is a new galactic empire! Jeez.
Please vote for president.
Please vote so that Dino never becomes president. Thank you.
Good luck.
Wow.
Good luck.
It's already begun.
But I guess the point is make plans. If you haven't made a
Yeah,
plan,
do
make a plan
it.
so that you don't miss it. It's a really important election. All of them are very important, but this one's also really fucking important.
For
You also
sure.
have a privilege to vote. It's
That's
your
right.
civic duty.
It's
Yeah.
It's actually your duty. I'm going to shame you if you don't
yeah,
vote.
it's our duty for God's
I'm
sake.
not telling you who to vote for.
You guys
Just
said duty.
vote.
Numerous times.
speaking of duty,
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
there's no segue.
Oh, dang it. I was really
It's
excited
like,
for
what's
that.
the segue?
It was there and then it wasn't.
You know,
Alright.
I will say, if we are going to make a segue, I would say that Agatha looks like she's covered in duty.
Oh yeah,
In the last
episode
episode.
6.
There you go.
For sure.
Yeah,
you go.
there it is.
There it is.
There
Okay.
it is. Thank God.
All right. Well,
do
these
we wanna start with our
episodes.
general thoughts?
Wow. Yep. Generals.
Generals. Who wants to start? I mean,
I liked it.
yes, generally.
Should we all just do Daniel's?
Yes, generally.
Daniel's the Duke from Moulin
Yeah,
Rouge.
yes, generally. I liked it. But I mean, truly, I generally liked it. I've said this numerous times before, but I do truly think that they have found their target audience in me.
Me too. Yeah,
yeah.
me too.
They've
They've ticked all the boxes.
They ticked all
to
the
be
boxes.
honest.
I have talked to several people who actually one of which I would think totally would be in the same category. Like, this is your show.
Yeah, I love it, but that wasn't the case.
But like fell off, and which is interesting. Specifically, fell off on the third episode, and another person the exact same thing, not in the same target audience, but like
Okay.
but the same episode. For whatever reason, I think there's like a lot of people out there that like feel really icky feelings about musicals, and it's so sad to me.
And those people are your friends?
And how is this? Well, no, that's the weird thing, is that both of these people are musical theater people. So it's
Oh,
like,
they just, it's
you're
not,
self-hating.
this
What's going on?
style is not for them.
I guess maybe
Okay.
I think that was perhaps they felt it was not, or maybe it felt like out of place, or
Ham-fisted.
it wasn't earned, or whatever it might be, or it was too random.
In episode 3, wait, they don't sing in episode 3.
Or was that episode 4? I'm sorry. Is it the when we get the
rock
60s
band?
like, or
When they
the
do
Yeah,
the
that's
70s?
impromptu
episode
band.
4.
Episode
Yeah.
4. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. Yeah, the curse episode.
I guess I just was feeling that was coming for sure because her mom covered the song.
Right,
You
I'm
know,
saying.
it's like,
Like, it was kind of, and we already like had a musical number in the
Yeah,
second episode, so like, why? And also, I think we were even told from like numerous people in the cast, and they're like, this is a musical. Like, there are numerous songs throughout.
Well, I think
so
Patti LuPone said that before she was supposed to have said that.
she did.
yeah, right. So
She did
I,
because this is the tea on that, because it was the day the Wicked trailer came out. And so at this press event, people just kept asking her about the Wicked trailer, and she was so sick of them asking her about it. And so she finally was just like, well, you know what is also a musical? This is also a musical.
let's talk about me for a second.
Who do you think you are?
Stop taking pictures.
So I love that it was in response to how annoyed she was about the Wicked trailer.
She's excellent.
feel that.
Just
So I get it
excellent.
too. I get it, Patty.
I
Yeah.
get it. But yeah, but even still, people are still caught off guard by it, and I think it may be the whatever it is. I'm really trying to play devil's advocate and understand where they're coming from. It's hard because I
Well,
did.
you also don't have to.
You don't have to. Yeah, I
You
mean,
can just be like, they don't really like it, but I like it.
yeah, and they're wrong. They're absolutely wrong, and they should be
don't-
burned at the stake, just
Yeah.
like the witches they are. Yeah.
But
I
episodes
would-
5 and 6, what were your generals?
yes. My generals is that I
That you
did
liked it.
enjoy it. Yes. And I was very I also surprised too. Because I think we had talked about already about kind of like, oh, we can kind of see the structure now of what the
Yep.
show is going to be like.
Yep.
And then I think like episode 5 just threw that out the window. Like yeah, that was very, very unexpected. And then also same with episode 6. I think we got derailed purposefully, obviously, in episode 5, and then episode 6 it feels like a perfect, sequel to episode 5.
Yeah.
Sort of explain like what the fuck.
Right.
But yeah, I thought it was a fun surprise. That's a very general thought. There you go.
Alyssa.
Okay. My turn?
Yes.
Mhm.
I love it still. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the reason that I like it, or one of the reasons that I like it, is that like we talked about, we were pretty much prepared for the reveal of Billy Maximoff, right? Like we were
Yeah.
somewhat
I
prepared
think
for it.
so.
Yeah. There
But
was some question as whether or not he would be a Kaplan or a Maximoff, but the
Right.
fact that they made him both is like, oh.
yeah, that's fun. And the reason that I like it is because it's like it was like a possibility, but they still did it in like a surprising, fun,
Yeah,
exciting
tragic.
way.
I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, tragic.
Oh, super tragic. Yeah.
And even
But as
though
far
it's
as like the reveal in episode
Yes.
5, the reveal of
Yes.
him, it was not, I didn't think it was coming then.
yeah.
And yeah, it was super fun. And
And it's way
Catherine
less.
Catherine Hahn's performance in that episode in particular
Mm-hmm.
is a masterclass in acting. Her, like, it's
She's a
just making
treasure.
me so. It's making me so happy for her, but B
I
huffy
thought you were
that
about to
she
say
is
angry.
not. It is. It's making me be angry because she's not going to get nominated for
Oh.
anything from this because they're all rude about Marvel stuff.
Yeah, that's
But
fair.
like this, if this
would be
was
neat.
not a Marvel show, this would be an Emmy nom
Although-
and potential win for her.
Although, didn't Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany get nominated?
They may have.
She
I
might
can't
have a
remember.
chance.
Did they? Okay, well, if
But
they
no, your
did,
point
that
is
gives
well
me
taken.
some hopes.
Your point is well
Yeah.
taken because Marvel generally gets
Yeah, it generally
on,
gets kind
but-
of they turn their noses up to
Yeah.
it, but
Yeah.
yeah, her acting, and then I'll move forward, or maybe we can talk about it more later.
You don't have to move forward if you don't want to.
Okay.
Do whatever you. Yeah, we'll say it's general. It's general.
Yeah, it's general because her acting is so good in the moment where
Mhm.
it is.
You can't explain it. You can't explain it. You just that's the general
It
thought.
has to be general. It has to. You see.
Okay, right before we know for sure that he is Billy. That's all I'll
Yeah,
say.
yeah. No, it was very nuanced. Yeah, like it
When
felt,
she goes up, when she goes and whispers in his ear, "Are you sure?" And then
laughed.
backs up and is like, "You're just like your mother." I mean, she's so freaking great in this.
She is
and
the most sass.
yeah, she's great.
Definition of sass.
Yeah, she's awesome, and I'm really liking where they're going. One of my theories was that they were going to potentially have the soul of Wanda's Billy
Mm-hmm.
into William Kaplan, and I think that's great. I'm really thrilled with that.
And the fun little nugget that they introduced Billy with Billie Eilish.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
that was fun.
Yes.
Kind of cute.
So those are my
Very cute.
generals. Dino.
Yeah, you stole mine, so let's just
Yeah.
move forward.
This is why you
No,
should always go first.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I won't spend a ton of time reiterating what you just said, but yeah, in particular, her scene with her confrontation with Billy, and
Mhm.
it goes down so many different emotional avenues, and
Well, because
really
you can't
sinister.
figure out like exactly
Yeah,
what
like,
is going on. You're like,
when he says, "Look, let's finish this, but I don't trust you," and she's like, "I get it, like very
Yeah, he's like,
earnest.
I wouldn't trust me
And then
either.
she walks away, and then she looks over her shoulder, like they both have this kind of give and take, where she's super sinister, and then she walks off, and he's like, "Well, I'm not so nice," and
Mhm.
and
What's that about?
which, by the way, if we're going to talk about how characters have developed, I think I'd mentioned Teen was really grating on me in particular.
yeah, you
Oh,
weren't sure.
sure.
Yeah, your first
I don't
couple
know.
episodes.
It's just not my. It's never been my genre of TV show.
Yeah.
Which is it's not a critique. It's just not my vibe.
Yeah, yeah.
You're so critical, God.
But the flip he makes when he fully becomes Wanda's son, I was like, oh yeah,
This is it.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Now we've got the gravitas.
well, and it's interesting too, because like, you go back through the entire show now, and you like the nuances are there,
Mhm.
Yeah.
like he's kind of like playing a part,
He is, but like in a weird way too, because he doesn't fully know
No.
who he is.
right.
So
And
that's
that-
why there was some like ambiguity there. You're like,
Right.
does he know that did he put the sigil on himself? Like, what exactly is his game plan here?
Can we?
And-
I don't know. Are like, well, before I ask this question, do you have any more general thoughts, Dino?
I love how the show. I'm gonna have to edit that. I was tripping over myself. I love that the show is so independent,
Yeah.
but now that the connective tissue is there with
Mhm.
with Wanda, and
Yes.
it makes it even more enjoyable
Sure.
for me seeing how it fits into the whole picture. And I think it was, as Alyssa said, it was really cleverly done,
Mhm.
and doing what Marvel Studios has always done, which is not be completely faithful to the comics, but take certain aspects and combine them, and which is what they've done with Billy. And yeah, I'm fully on board now, I think.
Excited.
Yes, but ask your question.
Well, I mean, to piggyback on that, like to the two friends that were feeling icky about episode 4, I was like, hang out for a couple more episodes. Like, I think I'm curious to hear what they have to say about these last few episodes, if they're back on board or not. Because yeah, I do think there's been a very pivotal shift. I'm not sure if the tone of the show is going to shift too, but probably not. But yeah. Maybe just for subject matter, but
yeah,
my
I
question,
feel like with WandaVision, they did a really great job at once we knew
the reveal
what
happened.
we knew, some kind of some like key details, like exactly why the sitcom was happening, all that kind of
like
stuff.
when they're inside the hex,
yeah, it was still. I mean, obviously there was a shift, but the general tone, I feel like they were able to maintain, which is
I agree, totally. And so, yeah, the question I had was, because I think some of the biggest mysteries of the show are still, even though we know who Billy is and where he came from, more or less. I have like a technical question, and I think that they're keeping it fairly vague, unless you think otherwise. I'm curious what your thoughts are. How much does he know? How much does he remember? Because it seems like he kind of has like double amnesia, as if he doesn't remember like his life as Billy Kaplan, but also kind of doesn't remember his life as, like, immediately he woke up, he said Tommy. So like he obviously remembers certain things, but like, and piggyback question to that is, how do were we ever told, or do we know how long the span of time was in WandaVision? Like, that show took place in a matter of how many days? I know it was fast, because that was part of the funny of it. Like, oh wow, you're pregnant and you're giving birth in less than a day. That's so crazy, But like, was it literally like in the span of a week that it happened, or was it like numerous months that we just sort of like spread out over the course of 8 episodes or 9 episodes or whatever it was?
I'm not sure that we got an actual
answer for
time stamp from that.
Okay, maybe that's why I'm a little confused.
But obviously we do know that the twins were born, and even regardless of how time was passing from their birth to however old the boys were when the hex was completely gone. So what were they, like 10?
Yeah.
Something like 10. I think you're right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then
potentially, I mean, so I don't know. There's a lot of really interesting ideas too, and I will talk about this in a little bit, but like,
why not right now?
Or right now if you want. I don't know why I keep thinking that we need to talk about what I'm talking about later.
We like to I
am a little bit jet lagged. I got home at 2 a.m.
Oh,
so
that's late for you.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Who cares?
Nobody cares.
Just say what you have to say.
In Vision Quest, which is a storytelling from the West Coast Avengers, and I read that whole series after WandaVision, because I was like, what is happening here? Agatha is around. Agatha is actually Billy and Tommy's nanny.
Right.
They hire her.
That.
And one of the sort of strange things that happens is that whenever Wanda is using her magic in other capacities, the twins just kind of like vanish, because she created them from magic. Yep. They're not like physical children born of her body.
Right.
So
this is the one where they're like puppets of Mephisto kind of thing. Is that
not in
one?
this, because they're babies in Vision Quest.
Oh, got it. Right.
So
they've been like reincarnated at this point, right? Or something.
These
after
are this is a storytelling of our Earth, of 616. So when Vision is gone, Wanda like has the twins, but it's really
the quest for Vision.
Well, they're trying to find him, and then they end up finding White Vision, which is interesting. So, but one thing that I noticed in episode 6 was the moment when Agatha was in, and it felt genuine for for Agatha, and you can take with that what you will, because she's a very calculated person,
She's a calculated woman,
but with feelings. When she says to Billy, she says, "It's so good to see you again, Billy."
Mhm.
She says it in this way that makes it feel like, whether it was Westview or not, she has immense history with him.
Right.
So,
Like, did you get the sense that there was like almost a there was a sort of maternal worry
yeah, it
in her?
It was like very motherly, and I don't know
Yeah.
if it's just that we're like, she was Agatha Harkness or Agnes, the neighbor, and watched him grow up, and so
Yeah.
it's like that comment, or if it is a comment about knowing, I don't know. It just felt very loaded to me.
Yeah.
Yes,
No,
absolutely.
I felt that too. It was there was some nuance there for sure.
Yeah. So it just like it popped back into my head because I had kind of forgotten about the storyline from Vision Quest, and then I was like, oh yeah, Agatha was their nanny.
Right. And it's interesting too, because like we had discussed before, when we when there was the idea that I think either he is or she thinks he is like
Nicholas
Scratch. There was like this sense of like fear in her eyes whenever like he was in danger.
Mm-hmm.
But now that she knows that it's not her son,
Mm-hmm.
like, has that feeling shifted, or is it's still there, but just maybe minimized because it's like, oh, I still care about these kids, but not as much as my own son, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. And I don't know whether to believe her or not when she said, because he asked,
Period.
like, he asked, when did you know it was me? And
right.
she said, well, I had a feeling.
Well, there were didn't she say something like there were signs, but we don't get a clarification for. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like your mother, you
like
had
just
a
like your
tell.
mother, you have a tell.
We don't really get a clarification for what that tell
Mm-mm.
is.
Mm-mm.
I mean, she maybe alludes to it a little bit with, she tells him you're a lot like your mother, in the sense that she didn't have complete control over her powers either, and she was, insecure and
Sure. And also she kept being like, I'm good, I'm nothing like you, I'm good, I'm nothing like
and
you.
I'm not here for power or whatever.
Right.
It's like, oh, sure you are. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was very maternal with him anyways, and her lines with like, don't ever apologize for your talent. You know.
Yeah.
Well, and I think I honestly, in that conversation, I think that she's also speaking for herself too, because she's like, I think talking to herself, like, I shouldn't feel bad, or like, I don't feel bad for what I did, so why should you?
Well, especially over these two episodes, and particularly in episode 5, when the poltergeist of her mother shows up,
right,
and has the whole conversation. I should have killed you as soon as you came out of the womb, and it's like,
you were born evil.
A horrifying line.
I loved that. Like, they showed everybody's reaction to it too, because it was
very 80s sitcom.
I mean, it was evil. Like, it was that is a truly evil thing to say.
Yeah. Whether it's true or not, that'll be a very interesting thing to know, like why she would say something like that. Like, if it's like, why, if she really does believe that, why does she believe that? Like, and I think the theory is that maybe she's like maybe her dad is Mephisto or something crazy like that. It's like, oh, so she's like the daughter of the devil, like, or something crazy like that. I think that's pretty wild, but I'm very curious to know why she would think that she was like born evil. That seems a little harsh.
Yeah. Well, shall we talk? We've kind of been talking a lot about episode 6, so should we go back to episode 5?
Sure. Well, I was gonna say, when you brought up Poltergeist, I think that was no mistake, because there were so many callbacks to that film.
Oh yeah, Poltergeist, Exorcist.
Yeah, and Exorcist as well. Absolutely. Yeah. Like the staircase bit was straight out of Poltergeist.
The crab walking.
Yes, the crab walking was.
Stop it.
Which was a cutscene from the original film.
Yes, right.
Yeah, but very spooky. Yeah, she crab walks backwards down the stairs, and then like vomits from her mouth or something.
Yeah, and
like,
her head turns, spins around, and
I can understand why they probably cut it originally, because I'm sure it was really hard to make it look, real.
I don't know. It scared the shit out of me the first time I
The
saw it.
pajamas.
But
I always love the story that like it's so wild how far we've come in like horror films, but like people that went to see that film in the theaters like for the first time literally ran out of the theater like and vomited like in the trash cans. It was like that intense for them.
I believe it. If I saw it, I probably would do
that. No, but honestly, and I don't know, I'm curious. Anybody out there, please comment below and let me know. Like for me, it depends on what mood I'm in. Like, and also the group of friends that I'm with. Very important. But if you are watching this film, it is like on a razor's edge of being like the terrifying horror that it was built to be, or a hilarious
or equally can
comedy.
be. Yeah.
It is.
I get that.
Oh my god, it's so funny.
It really is a state of mind thing.
Very much a state of mind. Yeah. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, lots of cute references. Very like 80s vibes.
Oh yeah, 80s summer camp.
Yeah. But interestingly enough, they were talking to the director, the creator. Oh god, I can't remember. But they were talking about the set design of that.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about like look a little closer because it like yes on the kind of like first glance it's very 80s-ified, but underneath that there's a lot more there. Like you see like old-fashioned lanterns like from the 1800s or like turn of the century kind of vibes, which leads me to believe that there's more to that than meets. Yeah, like maybe it was supposed to sort of give off the vibe of like maybe where Agatha actually used to live. Maybe it's not like a carbon copy of what it was, but like at least maybe it's supposed to kind of evoke those feelings.
Well, one of the things about this episode that a lot of people are talking about online is that the previous trials, they have walked down into them. And you don't walk down into this cabin. They just walked straight through. Another thing is that when they all transformed in the other episodes, the aspect ratio changed.
Yes.
And
interesting.
It did not change for this. So a lot of people are saying that this wasn't actually Agatha's trial.
Oh, it's like a fake
that this
trial?
was like a little fakey thing that somehow happened.
Well,
so that Agatha was able to get some power from someone.
That is very intriguing. I do. I mean, she could absolutely be lying about it, because like she might be trying to prevent like there being a reveal. But
even in the first part of that scene, because she like faked it with the Ouija board.
Oh,
remember,
no,
and was like,
yes.
that was
yes, very hilarious.
It was awesome.
By the way, also very hilarious. Yes,
I thought it was good,
but but I'm actually talking meta-wise, like outside of the show, like the creator, like more or less confirmed that it was Agatha's trial.
All right.
But again, she could absolutely be lying about it to like, set up a reveal later on that she absolutely wasn't.
Right.
But
I just wondered, I don't know. I wonder if
I like that idea.
Because I went back and watched it too, and I was like, yeah, I mean, it's true. Like the aspect ratio doesn't change, and it did for the others.
That is really curious. I mean, like why?
And they went down, like they fully walked down stairs into the other homes.
Like, yeah, well, no, sorry, it's the opposite. That like their exit from the trials went down.
Yeah.
Yes, right. And in
no,
the
but
exit,
I think
no.
If I'm not mistaken, no.
Every other one they like walked to the front door and like.
No, I know they walked through the front door, but I feel like all of them walked downstairs into the main room.
Oh, huh. I might have to remember that.
Into the Big Little
like
Lies house and into
door,
the
they walk
Fleetwood
downstairs.
Mac house. Yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like the entryway, there's like stairs that go down, basically.
Yeah, they go. It's like into like a down. I don't know.
Very.
It was also
curious.
interesting. They closed the loophole very quick as quickly as they opened it of flying on brooms. And like, why didn't we do this before? And then the road prevents them from doing
them back
further,
down
but...
into it. Yeah.
I'm glad, I mean, honestly, though, like I think that was necessary for the storytelling, even though as short as it was, because I think most of us that are like that, think about witches, we like, yeah, brooms, you can use them, and like they just give you a quick reason like why you can't.
I think
That's
I think they were getting ahead of Reddit on that one.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like could have shortened that show by at least 3 episodes if they fucking took a broom. Yeah.
Some other big moments in episode 5, obviously, we have Agatha taking Alice's power.
Yeah.
Right, which was hard.
Which she says she didn't do
She
purposefully.
claims that she didn't mean to do it.
Yeah, and do
And-
we believe her?
Well, so it was important that during the pre-episode recap where they showed the scene from WandaVision where Agatha is put to the stake by her mother and her cousin.
Right.
And it doesn't look like Agatha intentionally takes their power at first, but then when she realizes
That's what's happening. She's like, "Oh yeah, I want that."
Yeah, might as well take advantage.
So I'm on the fence. I don't actually know if it's something she intentionally does, and even in her kind of aside that she has where she's kind of grappling with what happened. It's not like
she's talking to Billy and saying,
well,
like,
even before
I
that,
didn't mean to.
yeah, right. But even she's before Billy comes and finds her, you have that brief moment where she's very shocked by what happened and
Sure.
also kind of intrigued by it happening. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and then it's weird because is it possible that both can be true, like where she is like both like, and I'm not sure if it's like complete like split personality kind of situation, but like because it at times it kind of feels like that because I see this sort of empathetic, sympathetic side of Agatha,
right,
that truly does feel genuine most of the time.
Yeah.
There are times where it feels very not genuine at all. Like, but then there's times where it looks like she's just straight up like, I'm here to like, nothing to do with you guys. I don't give a shit what happens to you guys. I just want power. So like, they're like, it really does feel like they're playing both sides of the card purposefully. And I'm wondering if it's like not just to throw us off, but if it's really something that she's actually struggling with, internally for whatever reason. But that definitely went through my head too. I think it seems purposefully confusing.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think out there?
Say it right now. Should we be like Blue's
Scream
Clues and just
scream it?
Wait
We'll
for
all
them.
hear it.
Yeah, I feel like I agree with Dino. I think that she didn't intend to do it, and then as it was happening, she couldn't control herself.
I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it.
and I mean, we are given the piece of information in a past episode that she's the only one to have ever survived
The Witch's Road.
the Witch's Road. So
Right.
it could to your point, Daniel, it could very well be both. It's like I didn't mean for that to happen, but
I'm totally stoked it did.
Probably
Well, it
needed
did
to.
because she's got power back now.
Right.
So
Well,
Probably
and when
needed
she
to
did,
happen.
like in that little aside with herself, like afterwards, where she's kind of like playing with her like her little
purple.
magic that she just stole. Yeah, she's got a little orange magic now. She's like kind of it's seemingly like, oh yeah, I remember how this feels.
this
this feels
feels
nice.
good.
Yeah,
Probably not the best way to go about it, but
yeah. It's like,
beggars
oh, it's
can't be choosers.
a little soon to be super stoked about your circumstances, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I trust it yet, and I do feel like there's. I think okay, if we're going to talk a little more generalization about like where the show is going, like because every show has got a message. I feel like, especially at Disney shows, like I feel like they want to have like WandaVision was about like grief, and love and grief and all that. And I feel like this might be just sort of a continuation or sort of a piggybacking on that theme of her grief for the loss of her son.
And belonging.
And longing and potentially so what I am curious about is that are we getting a sort of redemption story for Agatha or a double down on the fact that no, she is a villain or a complicated villain, we'll just say.
It's also a a belonging story, and
yeah.
and
Having a coven.
and what is Agatha without her power?
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
you know,
yeah, right. Totally.
do we get to a point at the end of the show where I'm sure this question's about to be answered, but does she sacrifice the ability to regain her power to protect little Billy Maximoff?
That would be cool.
Help him in some way to
Right.
to reconnect with Tommy or
And then, you know,
something.
what is Billy without his brother or his mother, and what, you know, what is
I could
anybody without
absolutely
their
see that.
coven?
She has the opportunity to like get all of her power back, but she like sacrifices some of it, or maybe even all of it. Yeah.
Where the hell is Rio?
Yeah,
right.
she disappeared very conveniently when during the Ouija board scene.
And also when everybody gets sucked into the quicksand mud.
Yeah, she's
mud.
gone.
Well, Agatha gets out rather easily.
Well,
and
she
so
had
are-
a vine. Very lucky.
Yes. If
Oh,
only
yes.
you had vines.
Mm-hmm.
Are we to assume they're dead? Or
No, only because we and spoiler alert if you don't watch trailers.
Yeah, they're in the trailer for the
they're
second
in the
half
trailer
of the season.
like covered in mud and like, you know, looking
Oh, I don't think I
a little
watched
worse
the
for
trailer
wear.
this. I don't think I watched the
Yeah,
trailer for that.
they're back,
Well, great.
and as is
The mid-season
as-
trailer looks dope, by the way.
yeah, and cover your ears or skip ahead 30 seconds if you don't like spoilers. But Alice is also in the trailer for the second half of the show. So
I didn't know that.
Which
So
is
So I hate
thrilling.
you.
great.
Yeah, and interestingly too is that the Alice in the trailer is not like shriveled up. Like she's asleep, like but yeah, like not shriveled up and looking like she kind of did in the first episode. So interesting, very interesting. Yeah, like not wearing like the 80s clothes that she was wearing when she got sucked. She got sucked off.
So more of the Ouija board scene, because I have always had, I have always had an obsession with Ouija boards since I was a teenager. So
I love it.
I will talk about them at all costs.
Have you communed with
The Lord?
with dead
Oh yeah,
people?
I've used a Ouija board.
I've definitely used a
Did it
Ouija board.
work?
I never had luck with it because I think that all the people that I was doing with were just not serious enough, and we were always like, "Tee tee."
No, everyone that I did
Farts,
it with
farts.
was taking it as serious as I was. So
Oh, great.
I
Amazing.
actually believe that.
Yeah, I do believe that. I do believe that.
God.
I have performed a seance before, actually, a few, and they were spooky.
Yeah.
They were very spooky. We like legit like felt like we got responses. It was very, very spooky. It was like like if you're with us, knock like on, give us like 2 knocks or something like that. And it was very like, thum, thum, like we're like, ah!
Who did you do that with?
Hilariously with the cast of Cats in the middle of Costa Rica. It was so random. In a hotel in Costa Rica.
That seems right.
Yeah.
That seems right.
I think it was, I want to say it was in sort of the Halloween times, maybe right
Okay.
around now. So we were like feeling spooky. So it was,
God.
yeah, it was, so we like, asked the concierge for like a couple candles.
They were watching you on a camera, and they were
Nothing.
Yeah, we're just having a little romantic evening. Don't worry about us. But yeah, there was like rumors about like some like that like, I think that there was like a death there's always a death that happens in a fucking hotel, but
Yes.
like yeah. Anyway, so we got in contact with that little girl that was.
That's so scary. That's the
Daniel.
scariest option. A little girl is
Yeah,
the scariest
it is.
option.
It really is. Yeah, it was just. We won't get into detail because it was a very spooky conversation we had with this alleged ghost. Anyway.
Spookus.
But what was your experience?
yeah, you all took it very seriously.
Well, my like childhood best friend Carson and I were
Carson!
yes, we're absolutely obsessed with Ouija boards. Like we were researching them and talking about them nonstop.
Just two little Mormons.
Yeah, and our parents were like, "Please don't play with a Ouija board. Don't do that." And we were like, "No,
It's
no,
not
for
what
sure.
Joseph
No, we're not
Smith would
doing
have
it. We're just
wanted."
like obsessed with it and like talk about it all the time, but we're not going to do it." And the second his parents went out of town for something, he was like, "Come over. We're going to go get a Ouija board."
God.
So we had the house to ourselves, and
Was it just the two of you?
No, we had a couple of other friends with us. Actually,
Okay.
one of them is now a professional medium. Like he is
Oh, wow.
like this is like what he does for his life.
I was going to joke and say that he's still possessed by that same ghost that was there that night.
I mean, to be honest, like I feel like probably the reason that it worked was because Michael was there with us, because he
Sure.
like it is actually what he a major part of who he is.
Oh my God. I need to speak to this person.
Okay.
Well, he lives down here. I can connect you with him.
Oh my God.
But yeah, we you know, we were taking it very seriously, but we were 15, 16 years old. So we were still
Sure.
asking it like questions like, where am I going to go to college? You know, like that kind of thing. But
Do I have IBS?
is everyone in this room gay?
Yes.
Oh, damn it.
Cal State Channel Islands.
But yeah, we had talked to a friend that basically was like, she had said like, I've heard that when you're doing it, you know, like you should continuously ask it like, am I talking to like a spirit that intends good?
Oh, right. Uh-huh.
And then if it says no at any time, you just like put it away.
Love to meet you. Go in peace.
So we started getting these kind of like weird answers that were like a little spooky and scary. And we were like,
How are the answers manifest? Because I've never.
So basically
in the
there's
dark
like
arts,
there's
so-
there's a
The
yes,
dark
there's a yes and a no. There's numbers across the top, 0 to
Mhm.
10, and then there's the full alphabet. So
Right.
you ask it a question and then it spells things out or does numbers.
Yeah, like you ask, like, how old are you? And it'll give you the number. Or, yeah, you'll say, like, what's
Yeah,
your
or
name?
say,
And it'll
like-
spell out the name.
Yeah, like that
You
kind of
ask a
thing.
yes or no question, it'll say yes or no.
Yeah.
And
so
then if you make sure you say goodbye, it's very important.
yeah, you have to say goodbye. That's the thing on the rule book,
Because
which
otherwise they stay with you.
we learned
forever.
in this episode.
Yeah. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
They didn't say goodbye,
They didn't.
which is notable.
Yeah. But yes, where was Rio during all of this? Where was Rio when death was spelled out on the board? Where was she when it was supposedly Nicholas talking through
More importantly,
Billy?
did you guys also, because it was literally the only thing I that came into my mind, and I could not stop laughing with the rest of the episode when they spelled out Mrs. Hart. I was like, Mr. Sharp. I don't know why. That's the only thing I can think
What
of
do you
because,
mean
like,
you don't know why? That's your
Well,
brand.
because like you know, like heart is spelt in my mind Heart. So
Mhm.
it was very confusing to me. But I was like, I couldn't
have no
take the
words.
rest of this episode seriously. It was like that is
You were
great.
gone from that
The
point on.
best. That is the
I have
best.
no words.
I'm kind of upset that it actually wasn't Mr. I mean, it could have been.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen to you guys?
No,
No.
I can. No,
No.
I
I can't
used
say that it
context
did.
clues and my age to.
Nah.
That's silly.
Oh wow.
Uh,
All right. Anything else notable
But,
in
yeah,
that
Rio-
episode that we need to talk about?
Rio was very missing. And I think it's pretty. My only guess is, you know, we've been told that she's looking for bodies, and she got one.
yes.
You know, so
Mhm.
that's really my only explanation for it is that she's just busy, you know, disposing or doing whatever she does to bodies.
Yeah, but she really just like was not there
Yeah,
all of a sudden. So
it is very curious.
I do think they kind of gave away the store on episode 6 at the end of episode 5 when she says, "You're so much like your mother."
mhm.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I was
it's a little bit too much of a yeah.
I
Uh-huh.
was like, I'm not positive which one he is, but
I think it's pretty clear now.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Because I mean,
I think that they wanted it to be a reveal, but they also wanted it to be digestible enough for casual fans.
Right. Well, and that's the thing too. I think that maybe a casual fan might have not picked up on that right away. Been like, oh, that's mysterious, and like that crown looks kind of familiar, but I don't really remember why.
Yeah, I read an interview with Joe Locke that said that he like worked with a choreographer that.
Oh, I heard that too.
Helped him with Elizabeth Olsen's movements as
Interesting.
Wanda.
And that one that he did was like uncanny, spot on. Like the one with the double arm, like poof, that he did is like very
and just the general like where he held his hands like by his sides and like how he moved, like he really nailed it.
Totally. Can we talk about that? He's
Joe.
actually like he's got a very decent singing voice.
Oh yeah, he sang. He
did. At least I'm pretty sure that was his voice.
I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounded like him. But yeah, I was like, "Aw, what a cute little singing voice." Yeah, episode 6 was dope. I really enjoyed finding out what his story was.
Yeah, leaning into William Kaplan's very Jewish identity and
which is awesome.
His bar mitzvah and
his coming of age.
Yeah.
We learn at his bar mitzvah that how he got the sigil. Yes. So that was an answer. So
that was a big twist for me too.
Yes.
I
was not expecting that. So Lilia was working as a fortune teller, palm reader. I'm
the fortune teller. I can see the future. Is that too much of a deep dive?
I don't know that. What is that?
Dino knows. He was in that show.
Oh yeah, Sideshow.
Oh yeah.
Oh, a Sideshow. Yes.
Yeah.
Forgettable.
Yeah. So she is reading his palm, and as
freaks out.
She's reading it. She's like, "Your lifeline is like split off. It has two
split in twine."
And then she said something about tower, like the tower.
Oh yeah, it was something about the dueling towers. I think dueling towers. Is that what she said? I'm gonna have to go back to that. She but she said afterwards. I remember she was like, "Oh, just remembering something." But clearly, it's something that's going to happen in a future episode,
right? But she draws the little sigil symbol, which we've seen many times now on a little wooden block, and puts it in his suit pocket.
Clever little witch. Which begs the question as to why would she feel the need to forget about who he is? Like, why was that important? And why was it important for her?
Or why she felt like, in general, witches needed to not know who he was.
Sure. Yeah.
Because that's what a sigil does. It protects from any
maybe you're right, because like for like a witch that maybe wants that chaos magic or that that sexy Wanda stuff is going to go seek.
Maybe she knew or she saw something that he was like a magic holder was going to use his physical body.
Like
Agatha,
maybe.
that was like something that she was like, how did you do that?
Yeah, right. Yeah. I am also curious too if she, or perhaps that she didn't want she didn't want Agatha to find him. Protecting him from Agatha. So now that the sigil is broken, I'm very curious to see what she says when she finds out, like, oh my God, this is what I was trying to prevent the whole time, but it happened anyway. Damn, the future can't be changed. I think that, I mean, if we're going to talk about Lilius again, and like all the stuff that she says, there's somebody that connected the dots, on the interwebs, that every time she says like a weird thing that doesn't make any sense,
randomly like blurt something out.
It seems that they are like fractions of sentences.
That have pieced together
Yeah, that if you piece together through each episode, they say something. So, like, for instance, she says, "Try to save Agatha to Agatha," which is like, well, she's like, "Yeah, great, that sounds great, but not now." It's like, but then she says, she says in another episode, she just says, "Don't," and then that's it. But then you piece those two together. Don't try to save Agatha.
Okay.
And she's saying that to Alice as she's saving Agatha, and then dies from it. So, like, she's remembering things but fragmented, so it's not helpful. Or maybe it's just because, you know, the future can't be changed in this, you know.
But it's interesting to know that, because like I after episode 4, my main theory was that he put the sigil on himself. Knowing that either once Agatha fully realized who he was or what, then the sigil would be broken. But I love that it was Lilia. And and also,
I think that's pretty cool.
And also Alice had a little cameo too. She was the officer that responded right after the car accident.
Yeah. So they're like all randomly connected.
And then Jen, he was watching Jen's stuff on YouTube videos, with his boyfriend.
Ralph
that
Boner
whole...
made, speaking of which, made his triumphant
Bonerific
return.
69.
I'm so thrilled. I gotta be so I saw the mid-season trailer before this episode. And I saw that like shot of his back, you know, with the like fishing hat on. Was in the trailer. And of course, you know, they don't show who it is because it's a big reveal, but I literally in my head I was like, oh my god, I really hope that's Ralph Boner. So I cannot tell you how thrilled I was when he turned around.
That was great. That was so silly.
He's so weird and so funny.
Oh, yeah, Evan Peters gave it. It's a really great performance.
It's so random. Just like he's just like this struggling actor that's been through a really, really traumatic experience.
I accept cash or half off tickets to my show in Paramus.
Yeah, my one-man show. Oh man,
that was so deep. I was like, whoa.
Ouch.
And he's like carrying around like I assume like a protective totem, you know, to like protect him from witches or something.
Random stuff that he has researched.
And that weird like spray that he's like trying to protect from, which clearly assumedly doesn't work because I mean,
so funny.
Yeah, very, very interesting. But we do get like, you know, interesting nuggets about WandaVision. Like, I think there were some questions that might have been answered as to like how the people in the Hex were sort of perceiving all of it as it was happening. And he was saying it was kind of like being a prisoner in your mind, like watching it go by, but not having any control.
Well, and the whole sequence where we're going back kind of through the story and seeing all of those elements from the first episode of the series where Agatha's the cop and but she's actually what she looks like in reality is
just an actual loony bin.
The like the hose gun in her pocket, and watching that scene that from a completely different perspective was really really
fun.
Great.
She's absolutely bananas and obviously having the best time. And like they're clear, like there was even, you could tell that they kept in something that they probably just like, they were kind of just rolling because it looked like she was just trying to get him to laugh. Like she was like leaning into his ear and
was
like,
just like, do you like, what was she saying?
Yeah, it was so funny, but she kept going like, and he's just like, no.
Do you want to poke the bear? Do you want to poke the bear? Do you want to poke it? I really don't want to poke it. Do you like to poke it? Yeah, she was like up in his face.
Yeah, it was pretty special.
Yeah, his cameo was great.
Yes.
Also, some other helpful information, kind of exposition information from I don't know what his boyfriend is called. Do you know? The boyf. Well, yeah, and he said like, well, they said that was just some kind of Avengers experiment gone wrong.
Oh, right.
So
yeah.
how the hex had been reported on in the news and stuff. I
There's
thought that
already
was
some spin happening.
an interesting piece of information.
Totally.
And the car accident prior to it happening, hearing Wanda on the radio and stuff, and William's dad was just like trying to like change it. I thought that was really well done. I thought
Totally.
us understanding Billy's powers for the first time was done really well. Of him like hearing his parents like
Yeah.
only when their emotion was super heightened.
Right.
Hearing these little conversations that were happening in their heads.
I liked that too.
I thought that was great.
Same.
Interesting else? that Billy can sense Tommy, and you wonder because it's never. If I'm thinking back to Multiverse of Madness and even the end of WandaVision, I don't think she can sense them.
Well, when she was reading the Darkhold, she did.
Wanda?
Yeah. No,
she could sense them.
Yeah. So it wasn't until then that at least in my mind, but maybe she does or maybe she did give them some kind of telepathic link, or just because he is telepathic and they're twins. It was hard to say
too if specifically she was sensing her Billy and Tommy, or if she was sensing the others
ones
from the places where they actually, quote unquote, actually existed.
Right.
Well, I mean that's the tragic part of it too. That some people have pointed out that she's like flipping through the Darkhold, like looking for her kids, and she just needed to look literally right next door to where she was, and he was there the whole time. So basically the Multiverse of Madness was completely unnecessary is what it was sort of alluding to. Oops.
I rewatched it the other day.
Multiverse of Madness, same, actually.
And just remembering some other details about how obviously all of the other Wandas in all of the other universes, their Billy and Tommy were alive and real.
Right.
Yep.
So, it should be interesting. But I wonder if he just senses Tommy just specifically because of his telepathic abilities.
I think it'd be pretty easy to describe, just easily say that because they're twins and because they were created through magic, they just have this uncanny, telepathic link. Because I mean, even just your normal regular old twins out there, I think a lot of them might say that they just have this sort of connection. They can just sort of feel each other's feelings. There's this sort of mystical bit about certain, especially identical twins, but these ones aren't identical. But anyway, oh shoot, what was I gonna say? What were we just talking about? Oh, fart.
It
was about Multiverse Madness. When they go to Wunderbar, right? Wunderbar?
Wunderbar?
Wunderbar? No, not Wunderbar.
No. Gore?
Wunderbar.
It's not Gore though, is it?
Isn't it?
Hang on. Keep
talking.
Anyway, so that spooky castle they go to.
Yes.
There's you can see the it's Wunderbar. Okay, cool.
Yep. Good job, Daniel.
Yeah, thank you. Oh my god. You see the depiction of Wanda, or sorry, the Scarlet Witch.
Yes.
And next to the Scarlet Witch, you see a depiction of what looks like Wiccan. Not a kid, but a sort of a teenager to young adult version of Wiccan. And so, the Darkhold is about prophecies and all this kind of stuff. So it seems that maybe part of that prophecy is that Wiccan is involved with, helping Wanda in some way, or maybe not. I just, the fact that they made it a point to show Wiccan, or at least what looks like Wiccan carved into the walls of Wundagore, is interesting. That being said, I think for terms of this show, I think there was maybe like a very light hope in the back of my mind that we might see Wanda by the end of the show. But I think at this point that's not gonna happen because he's made it very clear that he's looking for Tommy. And I think that if I guess it's possible that Tommy and Wanda could show up at the end of the show, but I'm curbing my enthusiasm there. I think maybe we'll only see Tommy in whatever form that might be.
Yeah. I wonder if potentially once he does find Tommy, if that is something that happens in this series, maybe the two of them being together again, Wanda's like able to find them. I don't know.
Yeah. It's because they've found each other. Yeah, there's some mystical thing
There's
that
some
happens.
like link there that I don't know.
Yeah, I like that. I think that would be kind of cute and wholesome and sweet. You know?
When Billy is doing research about Agatha,
Oh, yeah.
there was some interesting little things there. Obviously,
I
you
did
saw
not
her,
pause
saw
and
her through.
enhance.
Abigail Adams.
Oh, yeah.
And also that she's Jolene in Dolly Parton's song.
Yeah.
That got me. One of the
Oh,
things.
and the fact that she's like somehow involved in maybe the Hindenburg disaster or something.
Yeah. But on one of the sites that he was looking at, it said, kind of like, she was found guilty by her coven. She was the only one that survived the Witch's Road, and also that she might be a succubus, which is
very interesting.
Yeah, pretty scary.
Yes.
Well, okay. Hang on a second. I gotta go do some clackety clackety. Let's see. A succubus is a female demon or supernatural entity that appears in dreams to seduce men, usually through sexual activity. Yeah, the word demon is interesting. Which, harkens back to, the involvements of Mephisto. Curious. Very curious indeed.
Yep. Let's see what else. We've got the Ralph Boner thing. We've got the last scene with Billy and Agatha, which we've kind of talked about.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was able to escape from the mud, so that's curious.
Mm-hmm.
How
seems a little worse for wear.
Yeah, but
also,
how did she get out? Other than
seems
the vine?
to not, even though she, even though he has shown his powers, he still clearly does not have control over them because he tried to do it again. It was like, oh no, I've lost my powers again. He's like, I don't need you. He's like, okay, well, just kidding. I guess I do need you a little bit right now.
Yeah, I mean, it sets up a great dynamic at the end. They very much need each other.
Yeah, it's a unholy alliance.
Yes, begrudgingly.
Mm-hmm. Which is always fun. It's way more fun when the people don't get along at first and then eventually kill each other.
Yeah.
Things to look forward to. Looks like there's some pretty cool stuff gonna happen. We've got a potential. We got some fights happening. We are gonna see. I think. Rio and Agatha's relationship come to a head at some point. Perhaps that will be the finale. Well, so we've got 3 more episodes left. Is that right?
Yes, 9 total.
Right.
Okay.
So we've got 1 more episode and then a 2-part finale that's going to be released at the same time, if I remember right.
That's correct. Yeah, episodes 8 and 9 are both going to be released on October 30th.
Interesting. So, and there's still technically 2 more trials? Is that
yeah,
right?
I mean, we haven't
5 witches, 5.
Yeah,
3
we haven't
trials?
had Rio's trial or Lilia's.
Right. Yeah. So if yeah, oh man, I'm very excited for what looks like Lilia's trial, where she's dressed up as Glinda the Good Witch, and
Yes.
that is going to be something. It's going to be something, and I'm curious if that's maybe the musical that they're talking about. I would be really thrilled if it was a musical. I'm sure it's going to turn off a lot of people, but I'm going to be really excited about it. Oh man. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I'm sure we've missed numerous things, but
We talked about all the stuff that came straight to our brains. So
we did, which is the most important things,
yeah,
right?
Sure.
I do want to like go back to the question because actually we didn't really answer it, but I am curious if you guys do have an answer. Excuse me.
Good God.
It's the power of Christ that compels you. I about Billy and his knowledge of WandaVision. Like how much does he remember of that whole thing? Because like he was witness to his mother fighting with Agatha and like, you know, being held captive by her. You know, and Ralph Boner and all those things. Like well, yeah, so that's the thing. He like bumps into Ralph Boner. You know, and he didn't seem to be like, "Oh yeah, you were the guy."
Yeah, I don't.
You know what I
I
mean?
don't think his memories are intact.
No, because he tells his boyfriend, I feel like I'm half William Kaplan and half, you know, something else, Billy Maximoff.
Right. Yeah. So it's the memories are fighting for supremacy or something. I don't know,
Right.
but we don't really see him having really any memory of being Billy Kaplan at all pre car accident.
Yeah, right.
Like they make it sound like he died. So like
Yeah, he
like
did.
potentially his soul doesn't even exist in that vessel anymore.
No, I don't think it does.
Yeah. So yeah, it seems that he's kind of got like double amnesia going on. At least partial double amnesia.
There's nothing worse than double amnesia.
What's worse than amnesia?
What?
Double amnesia.
A fate worse than a fate worse than death.
Yeah, because I feel like it would change. It would change his reasoning for going to Agatha in the first place. Like, or
Yes.
maybe being more trepidatious about going to Agatha if he like fully remembered the events of WandaVision. Yeah, that was curious to me. And also just like more technicality, and I don't think that it really matters as much, but because he aged so quickly in that show, did Wanda like give I'm kind of thinking no. I was wondering if like he was given memories, you know what I mean? Like for the times that like didn't actually happen in the show, like, you know, the years that they kind of fast forwarded through, for lack of a better term. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know that her magic would be capable of that, but maybe.
Because the reason why I kind of feel like it might not be that way is because I am also rewatching WandaVision right now, because that's very fun, like with the knowledge that we have now.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
It makes it creepier, honestly. You know, like from when Mr. and Mrs. Shart, when they're asking Wanda about their history, about like where him and Vision met, and like, when they got married, and when this and that, and she couldn't come up with the answers because she didn't have any memories for them. So clearly, like, she has limits to her magic. Like she can't.
Yeah, I think it was just like the broad strokes. The family life and, you know, day to day.
She's not injecting memories into anybody. She's just like, or at least maybe to some degree, but it's very like skin deep.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like she would be able to do that quite yet.
So these kids basically, like, brain wise, are like potentially only weeks old.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is very weird and fun.
It is weird and fun. Yeah.
Isn't magic fun?
Yeah.
That's you can't explain magic because that's what magic is. It's unexplainable.
That's right.
That's why, until it becomes scientific fact, it is magic. Yep.
All right. Well, Dino, any final words?
No.
Okay,
No,
great.
I'm very much, as I said, I'm very much on board.
We
now.
got him. We got him, kids.
We've got
Check
Annie.
Yeah.
All right,
Can't wait
great.
to see how it ends.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
I really hope they get and land the plane. It feels like they're heading.
I think they
to it.
will. I think they will.
I think they will too. I mean, if WandaVision was any indication, I mean, they've got high standards at this point, but yeah, I think they're going to do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, 3 more episodes left of Agatha All Along. We hope that you're enjoying it. Congratulations if you made it to the end of this hour and 15-minute conversation.
Yeah.
This is Inside the Tauntaun. I'm Alyssa Simmons.
And I'm Daniel Dawson.
And I'm Dino Nicandros.
May the force be with you.
Always.
Inside the Tauntaun podcast, please like and subscribe.